What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk through my 5 top cosmetic changes on the Abarth 595. If you watched the previous video, part 1, I talked about the performance upgrades I would do on this specific car and the things I have done on this specific car, things that you can do to yours to increase the power, to increase the noise, to increase the performance, the actual feel of the car. But today we're going to talk about the cosmetics, the look, the style, and let's start in with number 1. First thing for me is lowering the car. Now on this car at the moment, we have Bilsteins. We have literally, I wanted to cut that gap between the wheel and the wheel arch, make it look really aggressive, really sporty, make it look like a race car. These are meant to be race cars. I don't understand why they come out the factory with wheel arches big enough to put a house in there. You could probably put another Fiat 500 in the wheel arch, these cars, so I don't understand why they come out of factory like this. This car was always meant to be a vision of how I feel they should come out of the factory. And that is one of the big things that I'm quite passionate about, as you can tell as I'm talking about it right now. Previously, I used to have 30mm springs. This came with Coney dampeners as standard anyway, and that was really good, but I wanted to go for that touch more aggression and put the car so it's nice and slammed. I will say, pre-warning, if you are going to do the same thing, you will feel every single bump and micro stone on the road, but I love it. It's meant to be a race car. It makes the aesthetic look really good. That is why I've done it. That is number 1. Let's jump straight to number 2. I've actually only shuffled from that part of the car to this part of the car, and it's because we're going to go with number 2, which is spacers. Now, I have got the wheel turned in that way to make it kind of look cool for the first shot, and it doesn't really help you see how spacers make the stance of this car look better. All I'm saying though is, I thought it was a completely overrated purchase. Everybody talked about getting spacers on their car. I thought, what's the point? I don't think it changes really anything, until I did it to mine and then looked back at other people's cars. The gap between the wheel sitting under the wheel arch, it feels like the wheel is all the way in when I see cars without the spacers now. Just for your information on this one, this has got 15mm spacers on the back and 12 on the front. It did have 15 on the front, but if you're turning in a tight car park, especially with the Bilsteins, you're gonna rub up those tires the wrong way, and that's something you don't want, especially when the police pulled me over and questioned me on whether that was legal. It was, because we made sure the tire, and this is a little bit of information for you as well, if you're going to put spacers on your car, your tire has to fit behind the wheel arch. It can't be outside of the wheel arch. It can't be outside the bodywork. So make sure if you're putting spacers on your car, it sits within the wheel arch. This is the good setup for me. I think it would be a good setup for most Abarths. I think like 12s and 16s, 11 and 16s, or 11s and 15s, 11s or 12s on the front, 15s or 16s on the back, it will look really good, and it definitely improves the stance of the car, especially if you're driving behind one of these. You can tell when they've got spacers on, it just makes the back look a tiny bit wider. It is a bit of an optical illusion, but trust me, feels great, looks great. That is number 2. I definitely think it is an underrated purchase now, not an overrated one. Number 3 is a bit of a crazy one, and you know me, I love a Wildcard. No, it is not the tailpin. I did that one last time as like a top 5 modifications on the car. This time round, it's actually a boot mat. That sounds absolutely crazy. It sounds completely pointless, but I tell you what, the moment you open your boot and you see the boot mat and it matches all the other carpets, call me crazy, but the aesthetic on the car, and that's what I'm going for here, the aesthetic looks great. The little scorpion on the middle, it's wild. I know, maybe I'm a bit crazy, but that is my number 3 for cosmetic changes. 4 for cosmetic changes is carbon fiber upgrades. Now, I've used Kill All Chrome, and a very good friend of mine, Mark, has given us a discount code that we can use, and this is what I've done. I've essentially, this steering wheel comes with carbon fiber here, comes with carbon fiber here and carbon fiber here, all completely real. Everything else comes in chrome as standard. But this little piece here would be my like top number 4, is the bit around the gear stick here. Just that little bit of carbon, I don't know why, it just gives that extra class to the interior of the car. I've then gone full stealth and blacked out the steering wheel. That you don't necessarily need to do, but I would recommend going for this piece, and also the air vent covers. They just add to the aesthetic. I've blacked out everything in carbon fiber. I absolutely love it. I think it was one of the best things that I've done, which is why it makes it on the list as number 4. Put carbon trim on your interior. You will love it. You will not regret it. I feel like I've been crouching in these videos quite a lot. They're quite small cars, so I guess that's why I've got to go low to the ground. But anyway, my number 5 modification that I would have on an Abarth 595 for cosmetic purposes is lowering seat brackets on these say belts. Really boring one. I was going to do a video on this by itself, but instead I'm adding it into this one. But that is because if you are a car nut and you know these cars as well as I do, and you live in these cars as much as I do, and I can see you through there, the Abarth community, you're amazing, you love your cars, they are your babies. This, if you've got say belts, is such a minute thing to add, but trust me, it changes the feel of the car. I got then into my dad's car, that 595 SAS I've shown you before, and it feels like you're driving a bus when you get into his now. You drive this and you feel a little bit lower. It's honestly the tiniest difference. Most people might not notice, but if you drive your car every day, you will. The lowering brackets by Saybelt, they are worth it. Especially, I'm 6 foot, this car, it changes the feel. I'd go even lower, personally. These Saybelt lowering brackets, they're great, but I'd probably go even lower. But for the money, it's quite an expensive modification, but that's why it comes at number 5 and not one of the first ones you get. If you are looking to add to the cosmetic feel of your car, and like I said, how they should be out of factory, number 5 is Saybelt lowering seat brackets. So there you have it, 5 cosmetic upgrades that I would add on the Abarth 595. A few things that I've missed out. I haven't put aftermarket alloys on this car yet. I am thinking about it. I've got some really nice ones, less spokes, look a bit more racy. You can see the calipers a lot more. Now that I've got the bigger calipers, I'm definitely thinking about doing it. That is one that I'd probably add there if you're looking to upgrade your Abarth, is find some really, really good aftermarket alloys. And they don't cost a bomb either. There are so many companies out there who give really good ones for less than £1,000 for a set of 4. Unreal. What is the world coming to? These cars are so good because the modifications are so much cheaper than any other car. My friend wanted to get an Audi, he's got an Audi S3, and he went to go look at an induction kit. His induction kit on an Audi S3 standard is like 800 quid. This, £200. It's completely different. Definitely digressing now, but either way, that would be another one. It would be changing the alloys up. And also, I haven't made my mind up on whether I have to do this on the car. Let me know in the comments if I should. Maxton body kit. Should I add a Maxton body kit to this, or is that going to ruin the car? Now, the whole project of this, like I've said in the last couple of videos, is I think, for me, I think I'm there, to be honest, but the whole point of this project was how I feel the Abarths should come out of the factory. They should come out of the factory, lowered, sat on the wheels nicely, bigger brakes, really raspy exhaust, and then also over 200 brake horsepower. It's not too much to ask from these cars. They handle beautifully. There's not, you know, we've got 230 out of this. We think about 230 safely, and it looks after it. The engine block can go up to 250. We recommend if you're going to do any modifications to get it up there, definitely get it checked by us first to make sure that it's all good. But you know, the engine block can go to 250 safely. 230 brake. It's got Saybelt seats. Again, they're lowered. You sit nicely in the car. I've obviously added all the carbon exterior trim. I just think this car is exactly how it should come out of factory now. Like, they should be sold how this car is sold now. I think if I add the Maxton body kit, have I then gone too much into the tuning side of things? Or do you think it'd look better? Should I do it? Let me know in the comments. If I get an overwhelming yes, I'll do it. We'll look at what it's like, and then I'll let you know what it's like living with a Maxton body kit. But either way, that is the top 5 cosmetic modifications I would add on a 595. Thank you so much for watching. Like usual, like, comment, share to everybody. Plenty more content to come.